And we're underway with run 3 at the Trydel Victorian Hillclimb Championship round 5 here at Bryant Park in Gippsland. The event of course being run by PIARC, as we have the Volkswagen of Ryan Northard running down the bottom of the hill. We've had cool weather here today, no rain. We've had a couple of incidents which have held up proceedings a little, but no injuries. Wheels in the dirt there from Ryan Northard as he disappears down the miners' pit yet again. Comes back down into the crossover. He'll turn left and climb up the mine shaft onto the back straight, where the little Formula V will accelerate as hard as he can. And Ian McDonald in yet another Formula V is on his way down the hill. And we then have the man I refer to as Mike Hawthorne Barker, who's going to replace Ian McDonald on the start line. The little Formula V is across the finish, but Mike Hawthorne Barker, that's not his real name. His real name's just Mike Barker. He only wants to be Mike Hawthorne. As Ian McDonald goes through the crossover, drops back down into the miners' pit. Running around the loop for the second time. The little Formula Vs, the formula originally started over 50 years ago. They are an indecently rapid little motor car, and I sometimes am a little bit nasty and I refer to them as the horizontally opposed suicide kit. But I have the greatest respect for him. Mike Hawthorne Barker is on his way down the hill. He's disappeared out of sight already. He'll be making his way into the left-hander. There he goes. Heads for the miners' pit. Slides the car down through there. Gary Martin's bringing his bullfrog out to the start line as car 23 is across the finish with an 89-point-something seconds run. Mike Hawthorne Barker back through the crossover, makes his way through the right-hander, brings up a bit of dust, drops it back down into the mine shaft. Reappears in my sight now, works his way around the bottom of the hill, up to that right-hander that I refer to as being the top of the bottom of the hill, back to the crossover, takes a left-hand turn this time, up the mine shaft, onto the back straight he comes, launches up there, will stick with Gary Martin as he leaves off the start line, disappears down through the left-hander, slides the tail nicely. I can see Mike Barker out of the corner of my eye. He's working in the last corners. Gary Martin, fairly quick, big slide as he heads down into the miners' pit, working his way around the bottom. Mike Barker is 72.84. Gary Martin, tail sliding as he comes around the top of the bottom of the hill, heads for the crossover. Now, he's going to be chasing Peter Weikart. Peter's in the lead at the moment with a 69.92, I think it is. Not like me to remember a number, but I remembered that one. Tail out with Gary Martin, the man who drives the car like as if he's grabbed hold of a wild cat and gone for a ride. He's onto the back straight, tail flicking around everywhere, rushes up the back straight, overcooks it, but gathers it up rather neatly. That was untidy and tidy all at the same time. Don't know how you quite do that. A 67.76, so he has blitzed it on that run. And I've completely ignored the fact that Peter Minahan is on track at the moment. He works his way through the crossover, back for the right-hander, drops down into the miners' pit, comes around the another right-hander, then there's a left-hander down the bottom there, Gets to the top of the right hander at the top of the bottom of the hill, drops it back down, a short right hand, left hand up the mine shaft as I refer to it, onto that back straight, tail flicks around, nails the throttle down, jumps onto the brakes, pulls the car in nice and neatly, beautifully tail out as he slid it around that corner into the last combination. Now here's the man who's got to play catch up now, Peter Weikart. He cleans his tyres off before going to the start. The little go-kart machine is on track. Ewan Moyle at the controls of that little cart. Comes back down, heads through the crossover, round the right-hander, heads back for the mine shaft, miner's pit, drops down into there. There's a right-hander at the bottom of that. It's an awkward right-hander. Then there's a left-hander. Then he comes up to the top of the bottom of the hill. Car wriggling underneath him, back down in, back for the left-hander, up the mine shaft, and he'll be onto the back straight. Let's see what Peter Weikart can do off the start line. Nice start, Peter. Scotty Ennis from Bendigo with Ennis Motors has been helping Peter out quite a bit, so let's see what he can do on this run. Nice and smooth, drops down into the miner's pit. Car 70 across the line with a 79.55. Peter Weikart wrangling around down the bottom of the hill, comes back down, shoots for the crossover. Car goes like a dart, jumps onto the brakes, beautiful tail out as he comes out, kicks it back down into the miner's pit. Gets around the right-hander down there. This car originally built by Malcolm Osler, current Australian Hillclimb champion and former Formula One engineer. Built this car and it is a beautiful car. Delara chassis, but everything on the back of it is all Malcolm's design. Peter says it drives beautifully. I don't think he's going to be on the money to catch Peter. Gary Martin, his slower run this time is 70.81 for Peter Weikart. Edward Lewis on track in the Lewis Special. Works his way back around. Michael McGinn. Let's begin with Michael McGinn. Well, he can't begin yet because Edward Lewis is still on track. Edward Lewis now, at the top of the bottom of the hill on his second time round the loop. Now he turns left, comes up the mine shaft and heads for the back straight. Away goes Michael McGinn. Nice and gentle as he heads down the hill. And see Mike Hawthorne Barker out here keeping an eye on these guys, making sure that they don't go any faster than him. Let's just have a look at some of these guys down here. There's heads on them like albatrosses. So they all stand there watching these guys come across the finish line. I see Colin Hewitt in the low-cost clubman sitting on the start line as Michael McGinn is into his second time around the loop. Drops down into miner's pit, wrangles it round the right-hander. Then there's it's an awkward right-hander. It's not a straight, simple corner. There's not too many simple corners on this track. Michael now through the left-hander, up the mine shaft, onto the back straight. Lets the Haywood chassis car run up the back straight. Yet another one of these cars with a Suzuki Hayabusa engine. And Ian Spate brings the Mullock U2 to the start line. And Michael McGinn is across the finish with an 81.76. Colin Hewitt working his way around the bottom of the hill. out wide, brings it back down for the crossover, slips it across there, turns right, heads for the miner's pit. Thunders it back down. And up the back straight comes the low-cost clubman. But away goes Ian Spate in the Mullock U2. Ian, a young gentleman, must be in his 70s. Mark Patani in the That's Not a Car, That's an Alfa Romeo. Comes round and purchases on the start line. And the low cost is across the finish with an 88.24, I think that is. And Spate now down around the bottom of the hill. Back for the crossover. Through the right-hander. Little Toyota Corolla 1300cc engine in this car. Gets himself to the top of the bottom of the hill. Comes back down into the left-hander. Climbs the mine shaft onto the back straight. A little Mullock U2. Slips up there nice and smooth through the right-hander at the end of the straight into the left-hander. Comes on his way around. David Cantwell's not even going to look at him.